Hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit Panikar, and I'm an Ascent member for 10 years, and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And my co-host is Aleem. Hi, Aleem, how are you doing?
Good morning, Ajit. Good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Alim Merchant, and I run a company called Synapse. We're an advertising and marketing company, and I'm very excited to see you today on the 14th episode. Ajit, I think we're taking a good run on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. At least the numbers are speaking. The analytics are showing that we're doing pretty good. So to keep the momentum going, and to everyone who's the new person who's joining us, a quick intro on Ascent. Ascent is a not-for-profit expression of Harsh Mariwala, Chairman Marico Limited, and his passion to identify high potential growth stage entrepreneurs and enable them to grow their enterprise and enrich their entrepreneurial journey. Launched in 2012, Ascent today empowers more than 850 entrepreneurs across India. Ascent is designed as a unique, powerful, peer to peer platform that leverages the power of the collective through self facilitated groups called trust groups, which enables entrepreneurs to share and exchange experiences, ideas, insights, and create a healthy ecosystem to learn from each other. Today's event, a weekly event called Ascent Talks, showcases Ascent members and their interesting entrepreneurial journeys. So, Aleem, let's welcome our guest from Bangalore today.
Absolutely. So put your screens together for Suresh. Suresh, an M Tech, is currently founder and managing director of TaUB Solutions. TaUB stands for Taking You Beyond. He has more than 20
Yeah.
years experience in IT experience and specializes in IT service management, IT governance, agile, DevOps, and business relationship management. Suresh is a practitioner and does consulting in training, simulations, and implementation services for Fortune 2000 organizations. He was awarded the top 25 thought leadership in service management for sorry, there's something gone wrong over here. Okay, and Suresh is also regional leader for Asia Pacific at BRM Institute and global ambassador of DevOps Institute. He's a regular blogger, a speaker in the national and international forums like ITSMF, DevOps Institute, PMI, ISACA, and he was awarded the ITSMF Contributor Award by ITSMF Singapore in 2013, and is the BRM Coach of the Year in 2019 in New Orleans. That's a lot of abbreviations and acronyms, yeah. You'll have to explain us all those things. So yeah, Suresh, welcome to the show, and you know, happy to see you here. And we'd like to kick off the show by asking you about your business, the nature, the scale, some clients and solutions to understand better, and what is your key USP and what you do.
Hey,
Thanks,
hey,
first of all.
before that, Suresh, he took that pause in between while introducing you. That was on purpose, okay? He was introducing an IT guy, and he already told me, "Listen, I'm going to show an IT glitch. So let's take it on the wrong note." So this is your moment to fix that, my friend.
Awesome.
Tell
I
him.
hope I hope you saw my good acting and all that.
Excellent. Excellent. So much. Thanks so much, Ajit and Alim, for having me here as part of the Ascent Talks. So, my name is Suresh GP. I'm the managing director of TaUB Solutions. TaUB Solutions is based in India, Singapore, and the US. We are an 8-year-old company. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. We are primarily focused on IT management best practices. So, put it in short, every organization is looking at capability development. So, for their task force to be more productive, more customer responsive, to deliver more business value. So, we helped to build skills and capabilities that will help organizations to sustain their task force. And that is a big journey, right? Because it's not just talking about training, you also require some coaching and mentoring, making the cultural change, and making people feel empowered to deliver. So that's what we've been doing in the last 8 years, and it's been a phenomenal journey.
Yeah, but Suresh, tell me something. in your industry where everyone is talking about no code, learning by yourself, doing things by yourself, uh, seriously, I mean, what are the kind of opportunities that are there within this industry? I mean, how scalable can these things become? I know you've done extremely well. So how does the future look like? What are the opportunities around this?
Well, that's a great question, Ajit. Now, if you look at today, today you would have heard the most abused word called digital transformation. Everybody around your nearby will actually start resonating on this word, but essentially, this is a business transformation. So, organizations do not really care whether you bring a new technology, new framework. All they want it is how much profitability do I make? How far can I reach my customers? How can I retain my customers? So, what is going to happen? uh, with the technology advancements, things are going to be much more efficient. With automation, it's going to be improved. But also, very importantly, the scale in which the change is happening, it's very difficult to cope up with the change. So, a lot of organizations do not have in house capability to train and coach their task force to reach their objectives. So, need a partner like Top Solutions who would probably be their trusted advisor, because everybody goes through different maturity curves, right? They would start some of those things, it will take some time for them to go up and down. But having done that globally, right, across different geographies, we understand the dilemma of where the organization need to step up, and it's a continuous learning curve. So this is going to be a much more opportunity for them to handhold, coach, mentor, and make them productive. So this is not going to be a boot camp where you put them into a course like what you said, that you have a lot of training companies all around the world, e-learning. Do you know the stats? Any kind of a course that you talk about, with no names around, one of the popular e-learning companies, the percentage of people who complete a course is about less than 7%.
Wow.
So an organization investing so much amount of time and effort on upskilling is not getting value out of that. They need want us as instructor led to come there with real world practitioner experience to help them. And particularly in Asia Pacific, we have been used to classroom based trainings, classroom based learnings. So we really want someone on the other side to pay attention. And the other part, which is going to be important, is people are bored by death by PowerPoint. All they want is some to have fun, right? We all want to have fun. So what we have also specialized is to do simulation games. So let's say, for example, project management. If someone wants to learn project management, you can read a big book on project management body of knowledge. By the time you pick the book, you'll fall asleep, because that is the big level of books that you will read. Instead, we have something called as a challenge of Egypt. You have to build a pyramid using Lego blocks, and that Lego blocks will apply all the principles of project management. So how cool
Mm.
it will be to just talk about scope management, your monitoring, everything in the game itself, and have a lot of fun and have learning interventions. So I think today, Ajit and Aleem, the training upskilling model has changed and evolved. People don't want to sit along to do it. It's a hybrid learning. The workplace strategies have changed. So you need to have different ways to grab attention, but also make it much more effective so that people can implement back at their workplaces. And that's why you need to have something which is much more tailored to the learning and development needs of people. So that's where I think there's a huge potential opportunity. And then there's dearth of very good players who could do that.
Right.
That's
So, I mean,
fantastic.
what he's saying is only 7% of the people actually complete the course, right?
Yeah.
So, 93% of the people are lazy, and I make a living out of it. As simple as all that.
So our target is
Guilty
that
as
93% of the people, right?
Yeah,
Guilty
that's
as
what it is.
charged. I am in that 93%.
So, the business model is how do I capitalize on the majority's laziness?
Exactly.
Awesome stuff, man.
Fantastic. And I love how you said Lego, because my client, I work with Lego. So they're going to be very happy to hear what you just said, because I love the way how people use Lego and how they implement it in their businesses. I've heard them from restaurant owners who kind of create party setups using Legos. I've seen so many different things, and I love what you said about that. But I want to know, Suresh, now, suppose if, somebody gives you the assignment to kind of train, how do you go about it? What is it differently that you do? And what kind of changes have you brought about besides the death by PowerPoint?
Excellent. So one of the things we do is we have an intake process where we go there and do a discovery workshop, right? So what we are going to focus is not on the competencies. we're also going to talk about desirable attributes. So whenever we talk to our clients, they say, you know what, people don't have a sense of ownership. There is no sense of urgency. People fight against each other. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand does. So we try to look at our current attributes and desirable attributes. And we also understand some of those political issues in an abstract manner. And then we start mapping to the game. So the game is typically played in 4 rounds. We try to do role plays. So typically, what happens is, let's say one person hates the other person. We do role reversal. Okay, you play that role to see what does the hot seat look like, and we play it very subtly, right? We say that it's by lot we have picked it, but it's actually like what you did, right? It's actually already scripted that this is what we're going to do it. But we also what we see is that the the advantage of the simulation games, or we call it as gamification, will bring the true self automatically on the ground, right? So we put challenging situations like the workplace. So when people respond, we stop after every round and do reflections. In these reflections, we ask them to reflect upon what went right, what went wrong, and how can they improve. So that way, you're trying to facilitate the conversations. You're not becoming a preacher, and that means they will find out an improvement measures, and round 1 to round 2 they will see a significant improvement. Obviously we have some dashboards, metrics that will see that I'm better than lot before. The first round is chaotic, right? They don't know the game, they get really frustrated, and we said, okay, settle out. If you start a project, do you have all the information to start? So it is a reality like that. You'll have to learn on the job, and then we create that learning interventions. And finally, when we do that, it's a whole day, right, spread over, and it's an on-site event that we do. But after that we say, okay, now we had a lot of fun. So every flip chart on round 1, round 2, round 3, what were some of the learnings? And then we also make sure that the sponsor is there during the feedback session so that we can get more business out of it. So the other part was the person comes there and says, you know what, out of this, these, I say, what are your action plans that you're going to do when you go back to the workplace? And I hand it over to the sponsor. This is what your team has agreed. 4 weeks later, we'll come there and see what is the progress. So that way, you are trying to do a continuous follow up, but you also are interested on outcomes, not just about the training and say that I got my money and then left over. One
Yes.
interesting incident that happened in Washington, D.C. I went to do this session with one of the Fortune 500 clients, and he said, Suresh, don't charge me this amount next year. I said, why? Did I charge you more? He said, based on the value that you generated by this business simulation, if my people make 1% productivity improvement, I will make millions of dollars. And they will feel offended that you just charge me a few $1,000s. So how many times have you heard clients tell that you charge me more money because you got so much value? I think this conversation has to shift from cost to value. I think that's where we are changing the perspective. I mean, generally in India, we don't really get to that level of value conversation. But once you start projecting value, you would be amazed about how much return you get on. Hopefully, that gives you a little bit of a perspective.
Wow.
That's true. But Suresh, tell me something. For as business owners, we've all realized that it is, IT is now very critical for all our businesses. But most of us don't know where to get started from. What is digitization? How do I actually make the whole process of digitization as a center of my strategy? I mean, I'm good at my business, but how do I make this whole IT? Where do I get it started from? How do I get my thinking process in place, especially
Yeah.
for business owners?
That's a very good question. So a lot of our clients say that I have got clients for 30 years. I don't need to do anything digital. They are not
Mm.
digital. We will not digital. So we say that uh, it is very important to understand your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change gears. So the first point, and I want to just make, because knowing the audience, I want to give a little bit of a perspective. The reason why someone wants to go through a digital transformation or a business transformation is to reach much more people, right? It could be clients into various demographics, various domains. If you had to do that, you need to actually know your brand. People don't know what is your brand, then you are no way going to attract more people, right? And people think that, oh, we will use social media, we will use digital marketing. That is not going to help, because inherently people want expertise or people who have done this before. So what you have to understand is why. You have to start with your why. Why do you want to do digitization? What is your end goal? So my goal is to get more customers. This is the revenue that I want to make. And what, how can I give my products and services to that. So for that, we build a blueprint, Ajit and Ali, right? From the time that they are in, how do we help them from their asset state? We do an assessment, gap analysis, and say what capabilities, people, process, technology you need to build in order to move to that next stream. It's a marathon, by the way. People think that, oh, I hired Top Solutions and Suresh, and it'll be a magic wand. I said, no, no, no. You have not done it so long, so you have to give me at least a year to see the visible difference. So if people are serious to do the structured way of doing it, we can help them to build capability. And you always have to trust your experts. You might have your own core job of business. You focus on the core job, leave the rest of this to us, and we as experts will take you to the journey to envisioned outcomes.
Suresh, you spoke about personal branding, and that's a big talking point again today. A lot of people are talking about personal branding. Can you tell us about how you go about it? What is the importance? You yourself do a lot of LinkedIn lives. Can you tell us a little about that piece? Because I think a lot of people want to know about personal branding and how do you go about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things you remember when we started Top Solutions, nobody knew Top Solutions. So what I had to do was I had to establish myself as a personal brand. So I spoke in 12 international conferences in 2013 to see what was my personal quotient and to see whether there was feedback. And what I realized was if you build your personal brand, and that means you develop trust, then you can sell any product or service. Many people focus on the product instead of the brand. The brand could be a product, then you can be your brand. So I was a staunch believer because I was a first generation entrepreneur. I didn't have a sales team, I didn't have a marketing team. I did everything on my own for 4 years, right? So when we did that, we said the only way that I can do is people should know who is Suresh GP. That has to be ringing a bell about doing that. So I went to all conferences, spoke in that, but I also said that what value can I add to the community? Because nobody is going to listen to your rant. People have other things to focus on if you don't go to add value. So one of the things we started off is to look at some of those Q&A series, LinkedIn live series, interviewing practitioners. So we did Voice of CIOs, SRE practitioner series. So we brought the experts to come there and share their personal stories. And believe me, people said that, wow, this is some content that you don't get in books. So when we start getting that change of adding value and making sure that you are always to help each other, you can go and improve your brand and products to a greater extent. So I absolutely think that personal branding is so important.
That's
Absolutely
amazing.
agreed.
Suresh,
Yeah.
Suresh, I mean, to all our viewers also, Suresh runs two shows on YouTube. One is called as the IT Mythbusters, and then the other is Voice of CIO. I've seen most of them, and I think it's very interesting. But Suresh, just for our viewers, can you give us two picks from each of these series which you think are a must-have, for the business owners? One is from a Mythbuster, and one from an CIO voice. Anything that you can just share with our viewers quickly as to what you've covered?
Right. So the Voice of CIO series is talking with aspiring CIOs and the existing CIOs to tell what is the IT landscape changing. This is an absolute must see, and it's available on Spotify and Google Podcasts as well. Because what's going to happen is everybody wants to know the whole landscape is changing. How should I get myself adopted? How do I build my skills and capability? How to build my team to be high performing? So this is going to be real world open talk about some challenges and how they witnessed around it. That's on the Voice of CIO series. The IT Mythbusters was a very interesting thing that I do with Michael Fulton in state of Ohio, where I say that, people have their own misinterpretations of what IT is doing. So we bring up the common myths and say that, okay, people will say that, you have to be into cloud in order to be successful as a company. I mean, you don't need to have been in the cloud itself. So we try to debate for or against and do that. So it's a good way of trying to understand. Let's not blindly go with the trend, ask and rationalize ourselves. So that's been a very interesting, fun-filled way of doing it around. Right?
So we have a very interesting question from our viewer. Since you spoke about cloud, Stephen is asking us, can we as an MSME embark on a digital transformation journey by integrating customizable off-the-cloud applications from multiple cloud-based app providers?
Well, that's
First,
a great
first,
question.
first, first decode the question for our viewers to
Ah.
understand and then answer it.
Are these
So-
7 questions, first of all?
Basically, what we are saying is that sometimes we are so obsessed with, let's say, Google Cloud or Azure or AWS. These are all cloud providers, right? So we think that cloud means it is available 100%, it's all there. But sometimes people say that I have it on premise. That means in my own shop, my own data center. So I'm just able to manage. Should I even go there into that part, because I am not sure my data will be safe. A lot of data privacy breaches are happening. So Stephen's question is, if I am thinking as a product company or a service company want to do it, how do I go about doing it? Because sometimes some of those people take you for a ride. So I think the first and foremost thing is this: what are you trying to accomplish? I think that's the first $1 million question that we need to ask, and why you need to go for it, and have someone to understand what is your short term, long term, and then go into the solutioning. See, what is going to happen is people are jumping into a solution mode of the fear of missing out. I think you can take a step back, realize, and then ask rational. And once you get the rational, I think this is all possible to be done.
That's pretty cool, man.
Okay. So Suresh, I want to know about you've been an Ascent member, and I know you from the start of your Ascent journey. But I'd like to hear it from you. Can you tell us your viewers about Ascent? How's it been? You're from an all India group, and a lot of all India members from all over India are listening to the show today. So we'd love to hear from you, and probably you will encourage them to know more about Ascent.
Absolutely. So Ascent has been actually a big a game changer for me, right? Because I'm a first generation entrepreneur. I don't have ideas to bounce with fellow entrepreneurs. So I was actually looking out for a forum that I can be a part of a group or a cohort. So I was blown away by the interview process of scrutinization to even get the first lot of an interview to do that. But then what happened was we were a part of the All India group. I'm based in Bangalore, and that was a brilliance because you have people from all different parts of India, across different products and services lines, come back and tell that. For me, they gave me a lot of opportunities. They made me a facilitator, so I was very happy to facilitate some of these conversations. And these are people, right, who are on top of their class, top class of their business, right? And you are having to foster a board of directors. So think about the level of acumen that you have to develop around that. And people have been very heartwarmingly sharing experience to do that. The Ascent Conclave was one of my best, right? I was a part of an Ascent champion. The exposure you get as a fellow entrepreneur to bounce ideas has been amazing. I mean, I can rant for the whole time about Ascent, but I want to give you 2 to 3 key areas that I think is important. First is awesome networking opportunities, where we can leverage some of the new ideas from fellow entrepreneurships. And more importantly, they also have this knowledge sharing sessions with knowledge gurus, which is a far more adding value to the conversations. These talks that you are kind of hosting around. Any problem that you can have, you can bounce idea. And I think for anybody who's aspiring to take their organization to the next level, I think it's an absolute importance to sign up as an Ascent member. You will have a ball of time, and I'm sure that there's a lot in store. I can't wait to see what is going to be. I just completed 1 year, by the way. So we are looking at a few more years to kind of make this much bigger in grander scale. And I'm sure we will grow about 5x to 10x in the few years.
Amazing, man. Too good. But you're from the Silicon Valley of Bangalore. So the rest of India thinks that you're a nerdy guy who has got nothing else to do in life but to roll around with tech. So tell us a little softer side of yours. I mean, do you go? What are your personal hobbies beyond your tech and beyond everything? Tell us a little about yourself here.
So people who have known me for long know I am a people-loving person. I love traveling, going around the world, and I've been fortunate to do 26 countries. My job is to go around the world and meet a lot of people and cultures. I love reading books. I have a small library at my home. I love playing badminton. I play badminton every day, and also swimming. So I'm an athlete. So I really am a fitness freak in some ways to do it. But more importantly, I love connecting with communities, building communities. So basically, it could be social communities, it could be professional communities, and also a lot of fun. So I'm a lot more fun person. I have a lot of energy to go there. I was doing a master ceremony yesterday for the Republic Day for 4 hours, and people didn't knew that I had an avatar like that. So probably another day to reveal that story. So you should have that multifaceted things that makes you think. So I'm not a boring person. You will definitely have something when you connect with me.
So your wife is aware of all the avatars that you are, right? I'm just
And
want
that's
to
what she
clarify
has.
that
She
one.
has sometimes forced me as a co-founder. Satya has forced me to do some of these things, and probably she's a partner in crime.
Fantastic. Tell us
Awesome.
about your family. Tell us about your family and who else is there and what else do you do?
So Satya and I are the co-founders of Top Solutions. We have a son who is studying his 10th standard and a daughter 5th standard. We are a S family: Suresh, Satya, Siddharth, and Samyukta. So we are a 4S. We try to have a name called 4S family that someone had already picked it up. So that's why we picked up Top Solutions, which will probably personify what we want to do.
It kind of shows that everything has to be standardized, process driven, everything.
Simulation,
So
goal
it has to be.
detection सब घर में ही हो जाता है.
Ah, exactly, right?
And even the founder and co-founder is at home, so that all those applications are going to get applied even at home.
And then
So
do they
don't
do
worry
role
about it.
reversal? Do they do role? आज तू बीवी, आज मैं husband ऐसा.
Ah, exactly. See, otherwise, क्या होता है कि now I can say, you know how the struggle is in the company. So that's always good to have a wife also be a part of your work so that you can always get out of it. Otherwise, you cannot get out of it. Why it is so late? Why are you not on time? So that all will just ease out. But then
That's
in,
a
in
We're
very
all
going
good
to,
perspective. Yeah, a lot of people don't want their better halves to be in their office for
it is
reasons best
important
known to
also
them.
to it's also important to showcase women capability. I want to make this confession. I'm a person who's a big picture person, but Satya is so focused on details, right? So it's a terrific combination because one end I can take care of the big picture and then move on, but if you want to scrutinize people, get to the right times, follow ethics, and she's so much with ethics and integrity part of it. So that's a great combination and complementing to do that. So you'd never underestimate what is the power of having your spouse within your organization.
That's a
Suresh,
pleasure.
we are going to invite your 11-year daughter as a guest on our talk show because we really want to know what is she going through with Suresh and Satya as our parents. We
Taking
really
care
want
of
to
them.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, at the receiving end, what is happening. We need to
So
see
she
that
says that
study.
every time you do something, you want to give you a statement of lessons learned. I don't want any lessons learned. Can you just leave me alone? You want to infuse all the ideas. I'm just 11 years old. I can be at ease. When I come to your stage, I will probably learn and do that. She's already started learning Ikigai and books around it. I said,
Wow.
give me a break. Give me a break. I can
Have
be
fun,
alone.
sweetheart. Don't listen to Suresh and Satya. Don't listen to your mom and dad. Just have fun.
Exactly,
But
right?
Suresh, it's been amazing actually listening to you, and thank you for all that sharing. And I think to most of our viewers around here, you should check out these two YouTube series that he has. It's very informative. It might sound Greek in the beginning, but once you get into the multiple episodes, I think it's fun. It's a self-learning exercise. But it's okay if you're lazy, you don't want to do. Suresh makes a living out of it, so that's absolutely not a problem. So, but Suresh, thank you so much. It's been fun listening to you. And
Absolutely.
as usual, it's been fabulous for our viewers. You'll be surprised there are quite a few of us who are actually listening to you, but I still don't understand out of the 35. I can see the analytics happening here. About 35 of us from different channels who are watching. There's only one guy who had a question for you. I guess I don't know. I read an article in India. We watch so much of social media, but we hesitate to engage.
Correct.
Hesitate to comment, hesitate to give a feedback. It's just not in our nature. We haven't learned it. While in the US, anything goes. Everybody wants to say something. They have an
Yeah.
opinion, and that's it. Well, I hope that also changes one day. And Suresh, fabulous having you around here. Thank you so much for taking time out and being with us.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Alim, for having me, and
Thank you,
good luck
Suresh.
to all of you. Thank you
See
so
you.
much. Thanks, and bye.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So, guys, we have just about a minute to wind up. But before that, I have certain important information to share for Ascent members. This is strictly for Ascent members. We are who are in Bombay. We have a great event that's coming up. That's on the 16th of Feb 23. This is a limited members event. If you think you know cryptocurrency and you're asking, yeah, digital rupee kya hai? And if that's confusing you, Samir Shetty, he is there on this session. He is going to share a lot of information on what is a digital rupee. I think it'll be a great event. Please remember, this is at the Geo Convention Center, PKC limited seats available. So if you would have got the link, otherwise reach out to the Ascent office and they will actually send you that information. Another speaker at the same event is the China Business Environment, Mr. Manoj Keval Ramani. He's also going to be there at the Geo Convention Center, 6 p.m. Thursday. It's a knowledge and networking session done by Ascent members. This is very critical because all you realized is during COVID, that the supply chains get affected, and it has a direct impact on virtually every business. So how is that future going to look like, and what is the China business environment all about? Should get there. I think it's a great event. You should really look around it and try to register on that. So just to wind up on our show, we're just about 30 minutes. If you are an entrepreneur and just happy to listen to Ascent Talks, then follow us on our LinkedIn profile, and every Friday we'll get you a new story. But if you are a growth ready entrepreneur and want to be part of the Ascent cohort, then visit ascentfoundation.in and apply for a membership. And the Ascent team will get in touch with you and evaluate you if you're truly growth ready, and we'll be happy to have you with us as part of the Ascent group. So that's all for today, and we're going to come back next Friday at 11 o'clock with another story. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, guys. Thank you very much.
See you
And
soon. See you soon. And I'm leaving behind a cookie on your browser today. This is Cookie, and she's coming into your browser today. So, yeah, see
that's
you
so
soon.
cool, man. That's good. See you guys. Have a great
Okay.
weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
Take
Bye bye.
care.
See you. Bye bye.